Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, James. I think we have covered most of the things from your two chapters, but when I was rereading your chapters, I was amazed by each idea, and I think they are very practical and they should be addressed for habits of mind educators. Do you have any final recommendations for teachers if they want to focus on habits of mind in their specific subject rather than seeing it or making it a more transdisciplinary or beyond disciplinary approach? What strategies, practices do you suggest for them to use habits of mind, to focus habits of mind in their own subjects?
Yeah. My advice is to focus on your subject. So when I say that is, I think one of the mistakes that we made historically with the habits of mind is to focus too much on the habits, to make it about the habits, and to come in and teach that we've got to come in and teach the habits and do all that stuff. But it's not just about the habits, it's about the problems they solve. And so if I was integrating habits of mind into my classroom now, I would mimic what I saw a early learning teacher do many years ago. And she said, oh, we make such great use of the habits of mind. You know, we'd come there. I was actually with Art. It was at Rockhampton Grammar School here in Australia, in Queensland. And so we were there talking about habits of mind. And this teacher was saying, you know, the habits of mind are something we do here. And we sat and watched this lesson. Now, she was an early learning teacher. I've got to sort of back off to do this because she had all her children on a mat. You know, they're 4 or 5 years old. And so being little kids, they're all sort of within reach. And I was there waiting to listen to a habits of mind lesson. And she said, boys and girls, what we're learning about today is about living and non-living things. I went, okay. And she went on for the next 5 or 10 minutes to lead a conversation about living and non-living and how the students were going to go out into the yard and identify living and non-living things. She established the problem. She said, this lesson is about living and non-living. It's about working out what makes things living and non-living. So in every mind of that, in those students, this lesson was about living and non-living things. It wasn't about habits of mind. Then she said, which of the habits of mind do you think are going to help us most today? And then she led this discussion. One of the students said, gathering data through all senses. And she had a little whiteboard there and she took a magnet with the icon and put it in the middle of the board. And she said, oh, how will this one help us? And what she was doing was two things. One, she was helping the students become sensitive, alert to the situations, the contexts that demand particular habits of mind. There was no particular need for finding humour that day or thinking and communicating with clarity and precision in that part of the activity. So she identified the most important ones, but she identified them as being the way we solve a problem. The habits of mind are only as useful as the problems they solve. And we have a future in front of us that is full of unpredictable and complex problems. And so my advice to people starting off with the habits of mind is to make it about how they help us solve problems. We're not here to have a habits of mind lesson and tell you how important habits of mind are going to be. I mean, I laugh at myself now when my kids used to ask me, my year sevens, when I first introduced habits of mind, like, other 12 and 13-year-olds said, why are we doing this, Mr. Anderson? And I said, oh, because the habits of mind are so important. They're going to help you later on in life. 13-year-olds don't care about later on in life. What I should have said, is it going to help us do your maths? You know, that thing you find really hard? I'm going to teach you to be smart enough that it's easy. Oh, okay, I'll do that. So my advice is to make the habits of mind a tool that helps you solve problems. And then ask the question, have I got the tools for this problem? And if you don't, well, that means you're in your learning zone. Stretch, challenge yourself, develop your habits of mind. What got you here won't get you here. Go from there.
Wonderful. Thank you, James. This was really inspiring for me, and I am sure it will be inspiring for other educators, other listeners as well. So it was a great pleasure for me to have that conversation with you. And I strongly suggest all the listeners, please visit James Anderson's website, and you have got wonderful tools there. And check our new book,
That's the one.
and we have got 2 chapters, and we have got in total 17 different authors contributing to this chapter. I think this is this book, it's making this book really unique as well.